Problems of practice is a concept that we developed during the construction of this program. We tried to think of all the problems that we had run into in our experience in teacher education.
We have a real problem in our schools around the country now with teacher turnover. The average teacher lasts no more than 3 to 5 years in their jobs.
In many cases, I think when teachers aren't fully prepared to work with diverse student populations because they haven't been exposed to different backgrounds, different academic backgrounds, language backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and they get in the field, they feel a sense of disappointment in themselves as teachers because they sometimes don't feel they can connect to students. It raises their stress level, feeling their students aren't learning, and sometimes they leave the profession because they're unhappy. And I think that unhappiness comes from the lack of being prepared to teach in any setting and be able to work with any group of children.
We know that a good teacher is the single most important factor in a child's achievement in school. And so it's really important that teachers stay beyond their first and second year. And we think by focusing on problems of practice, we'll be able to do that much more effectively.
Problems of practice refers to two sorts of challenges that we face in teacher preparation. The first type of challenge has to do with what we as teacher educators encounter in our attempts to facilitate the acquisition of skills for teaching diverse populations.
Because we believe that in order to teach somebody, you need to understand who it is you're teaching. And once you understand who it is you're teaching and you know what it is you expect of them, then you're going to be better prepared to teach, to do what you need to do to make sure that they learn.
We have to go beyond language. It's not just an issue of language, it's not just an issue of culture. It's an issue of understanding the needs of these unique populations.
And the other aspect has to do with the kinds of challenges that teachers actually experience when they're in the field trying to understand how to apply what they have learned in the teacher preparation program.
Probably the most important of those is establishing a positive relationship with your students, showing them that you care about them, and in turn they'll show the care that you have for the content that you teach.
There are several factors involved in teacher turnover, especially teacher turnover in high-needs schools. And one of the factors has to do with teachers being familiar with the communities in which they work and being familiar with the backgrounds for the children that they teach, and being prepared to address the particular needs of the children that they find in front of them, the children for whom they are responsible to facilitate their learning.
One of the major problems of practice in Southern California, as well as an expanding population across the country, is addressing the needs of language minority students. These are the students that come from a home where a language other than English is spoken.
During the induction phase of learning to teach, which is right after you finish your teacher education, you go out and you teach for the first 2 to 3 years. That's a time when new teachers are really learning how to manage all the social, academic, professional issues that come up and the problems that come up in the classroom. Literature states that in the first 5 years in the urban setting, 50% of new teachers leave. And there have been certain programs in certain settings that have been a little bit more successful than that. So we wanted to take from those settings and really take what we thought new teachers needed in terms of knowledge and understandings into the urban setting so we wouldn't have that attrition in our schools where we were placing our students, but in fact they would stay in those schools, and we've had a little bit of luck.